Hey guys, how are you all? Welcome back to Vedantu's J channel. How are you all, guys? Well, all my 12th standard students, I welcome specially all of you because this is the specific time of the day when we meet for theory discussion for people who are aspiring for J 2021. Okay, so guys, I'm back again, and today's discussion is a continuation of current electricity, and the discussion is going to be based upon something which will help us solve circuit problems, especially when the circuit gets complicated. Okay, when you will not be directly able to apply the Ohm's law to solve the questions or series parallel combinations directly, then definitely the Kirchhoff's law will come for our rescue to solve any given circuit in any given question. Okay, guys, so I'm sure you guys are excited as I am to learn this particular topic and be ready with any problem which comes from this chapter. Okay, so guys, let's start. And especially for people who are new to the channel, let me start off with my introduction. Okay, well, this is me, guys. Your Suri sir, I am an alumnus of IIT Bombay, but nowadays I am known as Mugambo. Why am I called Mugambo? Is because when you will crack this examination of J, yes, you will. Mugambo khush hoga. Yes, when you will crack this examination, you will definitely make Mugambo happy, and I will be very happy. Okay. Also, if you are new to the channel and not aware about the schedule that we follow for students who are moving to 12th standard, well, guys, for people aspiring for JE 2021, uh, these are your teachers. This is Harsh sir. He teaches you all chemistry. Arvind sir teaches you all mathematics, and this is me. I try to teach you all physics. Okay, so this is chemistry, this is physics, and this is mathematics. And if I tell you the timings, which are very important again, every day at 9 p.m. we meet for theory discussion, and at 8 p.m. on certain days, which is Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we meet for MCQs discussion. Okay, so what you have to keep in mind is that every day 9 o'clock, definitely you have to be on this channel to learn the theory for JE related concepts. And on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday and Thursday at 8 o'clock, you have to be on the channel to solve specifically the MCQs which are targeting JE 2021. Okay, guys, cool. Also, I want to share with you all that on Vedantu's platform, we have an amazing subscription plan going on, which we call as Vedantu Pro. And I would like to take you through the important and amazing features and the benefits that you are going to get if you enroll for Vedantu's platform, and that too under Pro subscription. First of all, the link for the subscription is available in the description box of this video. When you are going to click on that link, it will be directing you to Vedantu's platform, and there you will have to start with selecting the standard that you are in, assuming that you are moving to say 11 standard or 12 standard. Accordingly, you will select the target examination, which would be JE examination or NEET examination for respective students. Okay, what exactly are you going to get when you are going to enroll for Vedantu Pro? So you are going to get live interactive sessions, a lot of assignments and study material, and all the online tests along with the analysis of your own performance based upon the simulative JE examination that we conduct on our platform. Okay, so this is basically a complete package that you get when you enroll with Vedantu Pro. Okay. Also, if I go in detail, what exactly is the curriculum? You're going to get 4,000 plus hours of live teaching. There are 20 plus teachers with more than 5 years of experience of teaching who are going to help you prepare for this examination. You are going to appear for many tests around the year, and you're going to solve a lot of assignment questions with us. You can choose the language that you want to study with, either whether it is English or Hindi. The batch will specifically be having deliverable language as Hindi or English. Okay. Also, your own continuous reviews will be shared in terms of which are your areas of improvement, which topic should you focus upon based upon the statistics and the analysis that we do based upon your own performance. Okay, and definitely complete access to all the micro and crash courses of Vedantu. When you will be close to your examination, you can be a part of crash course as well. Okay, and this is how, by the way, the Vedantu platform looks like when you are on that platform. This is how the teacher looks like. This is where you guys can interact with the teachers. This is where you see a Q&A panel. This is where you ask the doubts, and this is the part where teachers explain you the concept. Okay, awesome. Now, if you are interested in joining Vedantu, then for Vedantu Pro subscription, you can see that there are multiple subscriptions possible. Means multiple options of subscriptions are possible. You can go for a monthly subscription or quarterly subscription, or you can go for half yearly or annual subscription as well. You can see that if you go for any of the subscription, depending upon the type of subscription, the costing is definitely different. If you go for a 1 month subscription, it comes around 7,000 per month. But when you go for a yearly subscription, it comes down to around 2,650 rupees per month. Definitely, it's a call that you will take as per your own requirement. Okay. If you want, when you are going to go on this platform, you will find a 7 days trial version as well. So you can also come and see how the platform looks like, how it feels like, how exactly the lectures are delivered, how interactive it is, how easy it is to learn on Vedantu's platform. So you can take that 7 days subscription, which is the trial basis. And after that, you can take a call whether you would want to go for a monthly, quarterly, half yearly, or annually subscription. Okay. Also, if you enroll now, as in within the coming few days after taking that 7 days trial, you can also avail an additional 15% discount by going on the link which I told you already, available in the description box of this video. There, when you will be going, when you will enroll, say if you are enrolling for any course, just use this coupon code SMPRO, which is SM Pro. You will be able to get additional 15% discount, and this will be applicable as per the fees for the type of subscription that you are going to take. Okay, guys. Awesome. So this is Vedantu's platform, and if you are looking forward to learn on the YouTube as well, then definitely YouTube learning is happening for people who are full-fledgedly interested in preparing for JEE examination, or want to get your doubts solved. You know that on YouTube platform we are not able to get many doubts cleared here. You are not able to appear for any online test with us when you are enrolled, when you are connected on the YouTube platform of ours. If you want, then if you want to go for all those benefits, then come for the pro subscription. Otherwise, definitely YouTube learning is happening. Then if you are regular over here and have not, then definitely subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that whenever your Suri sir comes live, you get the notification. Okay, guys. Cool. So let's go forward and speak about the Kirchhoff's law, the very important Kirchhoff's law of current electricity, which will help us solve a lot of problems. So, guys, there are total two laws that we are going to speak about. One is related to current, and the other is related to voltage. You might have already heard about them as well, so it is not going to come as a surprise for many. And honestly speaking, it's not even very challenging when you will see that how the problem solving becomes very easy by applying them. Okay, and actually the understanding will get even more clearer, especially with respect to the second law when we'll solve the problems. Okay, so let's go forward and speak about the very first law. So what you see here is the Kirchhoff's first law, which says that the total current entering a circuit at a particular junction is exactly equal to the total current that is leaving the same junction. Okay, that means what? If you think of the situation like a railway station, where say if a train comes in and say there is another line which is coming and meeting, or maybe from that station the railway line goes to two different stations, then for trains which are coming to that railway station, they have two possibilities to go to any of the path, but they will definitely be in such a way that the total number of trains which are entering the junction will be equal to the total number of trains which are leaving the junction. On the same lines, if you'll see in this particular diagram as well, the total amount of current which is coming to this particular junction which you see here, at this junction you have 8 ampere current coming in and 5 and 3 ampere current going out. So we can say that the total incoming current is equal to the total outgoing current, as simple as this. Yes, and current is a scalar quantity, so you don't even have to think about the vectors law or any kind of laws of vector addition or anything like that. Okay, so as simple as this is Kirchhoff's current law. Let's have a quick look at an example to understand how do we apply that as well. Okay, so just read the question over here, guys. So just a second, guys. Let me. Yeah. Cool. So question says that the figure shows a network of current and the magnitude of current I will be how much. Okay, all the values of currents are given to us along with the direction, and we have to find out the current I, which looks like to be here, and that current is unknown. We have to find that. Now you'll see that how easy Kirchhoff's current law practically is. Okay, so if we look at first of all the junctions here, so you see that this particular is a junction P. Let's call it P. Okay, this one is junction Q, and say this one is junction R. So let's start with junction P. What you see that there are total two incoming currents at junction P, which are 2 amperes and 2 amperes. So can I say that if total incoming current is already 2 ampere, then there has to be some current which has to go out, and that has no other possibility other than 2 plus 2, and that is 4 ampere. So that's the current which will go towards junction Q. Okay, guys. Now at junction Q, if you see, you have 4 ampere current coming in and 1 ampere current is going to the right side. So obviously 3 ampere current is further remaining, which should go from Q to R. Okay, that means this is 3 ampere current which is left, and over here you have already 1 ampere current going in. So again you can think of junction rule that 1 ampere current came till junction Q, and sorry, 4 ampere current came till junction Q, and 1 and 3 ampere went to different paths. And now the final junction where we have our unknown current also being given over there. So out of 3 ampere current which is reaching junction R, what we see that 1.3 ampere is going and some I current is going. So I can say that the total incoming current is 3 and outgoing current is 1.3 ampere plus I ampere. Okay, we don't know how much is the value of I, so let's find that now very simply. It is 3 minus 1.3 ampere, so current comes out to be 1.7 ampere. Understood, guys? So I don't think there could be any more difficulties in applying Kirchhoff's current law, which is also known as junction rule, by the way, as there are junctions involved, and as simple as this particular problem is the application of this particular rule. Okay, now let's speak about the second rule, which is also not very challenging, and based upon the same understanding pattern, we'll try to solve questions for the rule number 2 as well. Okay, so rule number 2 is what we call as Kirchhoff's voltage law. It is also known as loop rule. Okay, and in short you can call this as KVL as well. Like this one you can also call as KCL. So this you are calling as KVL, or in also other words it is known as loop rule. Now why exactly it is called loop rule? Let's have a look at the statement of this law. It says that the total algebraic sum of, or the algebraic sum of all the voltages within a loop must be equal to 0. So in a given circuit, there will be many times that will come across loops. When I say loops, if you move from a particular point, let's call this point as P, and if you move on this path and come back to point P, then you are actually moving in a loop. Okay, so if in a loop we speak about the total value of all the voltages, if you add all the voltages, that value should always come out to be 0. The algebraic sum of all the voltages should always come out to be 0. Okay, let's have a look at this to understand it better. What you see here, guys, the battery is the voltage supplier and the two resistors are the voltage consumers, or you can say battery is the energy supplier, we know that, and resistors are the energy consumers. So the voltage of the battery, or the energy supplied by the battery, is 4 volts, while the energy consumed over here on the two resistors are 3 and 1 volts respectively, which is telling you that effectively the net value of the voltage in the loop is going to be 0. Okay. Now, what is more important with respect to loop rule or Kirchhoff's voltage law is to know how exactly we are going to apply KVL in a problem in order to solve the questions. Okay. What will be the requirement in the questions? Obviously, the requirement of a current electricity circuit is either to find out the voltage or find out the current or find out the value of resistance. So these are the main objectives which we have already been solving questions from, but then we were solving questions which were relatively much more simpler circuits, could be solved by using Ohm's law or by series parallel combination and then Ohm's law. Okay, so let's have a look at an example here. This question to understand how we apply KVL. Okay, so we have this loop which is having two batteries which are trying to oppose each other. We know how to find out the equivalent battery potential as well. We learned this in the previous session, but we will not go by that. Rather, the question is asking us to find out the value of the potential difference between point P and Q. Everything else is given. The internal resistance of the batteries, their voltages is given, and the external resistance is also given. So we know that the point P and Q are also same for these 2 points because there is nothing connected in the two parallel branches here. So we will try to find out the potential difference if we get the value of current here. Okay. So if we look at the bigger battery or the more stronger battery, it will try to drive the current. So when we say that the current flowing in the circuit is I, so this is how the current is going to be. Okay. Now we know that for the battery, the higher potential is the bigger line and the lower potential is the smaller line. So accordingly, you will write plus and minus. Do that for both the batteries. What did I do? First, I defined the direction of current, and after that, we gave the polarity of positive and minus to both the batteries individually. Okay, that will not depend upon the direction of current, by the way. Okay, and now comes the resistance. So if you have chosen the direction of current in such a way that the current in the topmost branch is going from Q to P, so the current, whenever it will pass through a resistor, remember this point always, guys. Whenever the current passes through a resistor, it will always drop the energy on that resistor. That means what? The entering point on the resistor will always be higher potential, and the leaving point for the current will always be the lower potential point. So you can see that this is going to be the higher potential and this is going to be the lower potential point. Similarly, when the current will move from Q to the 8-volt battery, this will be the higher potential point and this will be lower potential point. And same, if I look at this external resistance, this is the entry point for current and this is the exit point for the current. So definitely plus and minus accordingly being mentioned. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to move in this loop. Say I start from this particular point. So when I start from this point, I come from P to P, no potential drop happens. What I'm going to do now, by the way, guys, I'm going to move in the loop, maybe in clockwise or anti-clockwise direction. Whenever I'm going to come across any potential increment, I will consider it as positive. If I'll come across potential decrement, I'll write it as negative potential. Okay, or potential change basically. So from P to P, nothing happened. If I go from P to Q, I have one resistor on which I'm moving from higher to lower potential. I'm going from plus to minus, right? So that is why when I'm going to move like that, I will say that the potential is getting dropped when I'm moving from positive to negative here. Okay, so I will say that the potential drop is minus I into R, which is 9. Why am I writing negative? Because potential is dropping on this resistance when I'm moving from left to right side. If I would be moving from right to left side, if my sense of motion would have been, motion as in sense of my own movement in the loop would have been other way around. If this would have been a clockwise sense, then I would be moving from Q to P eventually. Okay, don't worry, we'll be solving a lot of questions for the understanding to get clearer and clearer. Just follow what I'm doing. I moved from P to P, nothing happened. While going from P to Q, I'm coming across a potential drop of minus IR. After that, again Q to Q, nothing happened. Then from Q, if I go to this resistor, there is a potential drop again happening because it is from plus to minus. So it is minus I into R, that is 2. Then I move on the battery to negative to positive, which means it's an increment of potential of 8 volts. Getting it? On the battery, I'm going from lower to higher potential. And again, for the second battery, I'm moving from higher to lower this time. So it will be minus 4. And then for this resistor also I'm going from plus to minus, which is a potential drop of minus I into 1, and this whole value of all the potentials that I have written in the loop should be equal to 0. Okay, so what do I have is minus 9I minus 2I minus I plus 4 equal to 0, or I can say that 9 plus 1 10, 10 plus 12I should be equal to 4 on rearranging. That means what? The value of the current comes out to be 4 by 12, which is 1 by 3 amperes. That's the value of the current in the circuit. Okay, guys, you must be wondering, sir, why should you take so much of load to calculate that? We already know how to find out the equivalent potential value and then equivalent resistance. I know that method is very easy to solve, but we are learning the method to solve questions which are relatively more complicated. Okay, so definitely answer we have got, it is A, but let's also find out the value of the potential drop between P and Q. So for that we know that VPQ should be equal to I into capital R. Current is 1 by 3, resistance is 9 ohms, so this comes out to be 3 volts of potential drop. Okay, guys, awesome, cool. Let's solve more problems based upon KVL and KCL both. So what we see here, we have a potential difference to be found. We have to find out the value of the potential difference between A and B. Now, because nothing has been mentioned whether they are connected, these cells are connected in any circuit or not, so we will definitely consider that they are not connected, because for that we'll require the value of the current. And what I'll do, I'll try to find out the equivalent of these two resistors, these two capacitors, these two batteries here. Okay, so the value of the equivalent EMF is going to be E1 by R1. We learned this in the previous session. E1 by R1 plus E2 by R2 divided by 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2, right? And that is 2 by 1 plus 4 by 1 divided by 1 by 1 plus 1 by 1, right? That means it comes out to be 6 by 2, or simply 3 volts. So the potential difference or EMF over here comes out to be 3 volts. Okay. Now, if you look at the circuit here, this is what effectively the two batteries are connected as. And because they're not sending any current outside, so I don't even need to bother about the resistance value of the equivalent battery that I've found here. So this is A to B, this is 3 volt and this is 3 volt. You can see that this is higher potential point and this is the lower potential point because of the terminals of the battery. So VA minus VB is nothing but 3 plus 3, or simply 6 volts. Okay, guys, you could have moved from A to B as well. Let me try that to give you the idea of how we apply the Kirchhoff's voltage law here. Okay, how do we apply the KVL, or a method of kind of KVL, because there are no loops here. So unless a loop is formed, how we are going to go forward is, say we start from point A, calling its potential to be VA. This is plus, this is minus, this is plus, this is minus. So when I go from plus to minus, it is drop of 3 potential or 3 volts. Again, further 3 volts potential drop. This will make me go to potential VB. So I can say that VA minus VB is equal to 3 plus 3, that is 6 volts. Okay, awesome. Now this one is from the junction rule, and again we have to find out the value of the unknown current over here. So let's say we start from here. Let's give them the name as A, B, C and D junctions. So at junction A, I have a 8 ampere and 5 ampere current coming in. So definitely there is an outgoing current only possible, and 8 plus 5 is going to be 13 amperes. So on junction D, finally where we will be, working upon, one current has already been found, that is 13 amperes. Okay. Now what, guys? Next is junction B, where we can see that a 15 ampere current came, out of which 8 has already gone from B to A. So the remaining is only 7 ampere, which has to go from B to C. Yeah. So eventually at C, what I see that 7 ampere and 3 ampere currents are approaching. So the outgoing current has to be 10 ampere. Okay. That means Now at junction D, what I see that we have 10 and 13 ampere current coming in. So I should be equal to 13 plus 10 because that's the only outgoing current, and that comes out to be 23 ampere. I know you guys have got this answer very easily. Very good guys, keep it up and keep solving the questions along with me. And the answer for this comes out to be option B. Okay, cool. Moving on to the next question. Now this one says we have to find out the value of the current through this 2 ohms resistor. Circuit looks very dangerous for especially people who are studying current electricity for the first time. Okay, already the values of resistances are given. We have to find the value of the current in this particular branch. Let's call this point as P and this point as Q. So guys, if I look at this battery, say this battery starts a current I1 in the left loop and this battery starts a current I2 in the loop. You should know that whenever a current will start from a battery, we know this already, then the same current should come back to the battery also. That means the same value I1 will come back. So from here, I1 current has to come back. So what we see here at junction P, the current which reached is I1 and the current which has gone to the left side is the same current I1. Okay, so if I consider say some current imaginarily, I3 is going to go here. What you see here, that if already I have I1 current coming in and I1 plus I3 is going out, you can see that, right? I1 is going left, I3 is going to the right, which simply means what? The value of I3 should be equal to 0. Now how is it that? That will be understandable when we look at the other loop as well. So if I2 current starts from 20 volts battery, then definitely I2 current has to come back also. So from here I2 has to come back, and what you see here at junction Q also the same story repeated. What is happening here basically? P and Q are becoming the points of same potential difference. From here, what I am able to conclude that point of point P and point Q, they have the same value of potential. That is why, as long as there is no potential difference between P and Q, there could not be any current. This is the final conclusion that we can draw. And by looking at the loop rule, we are able to find out and conclude that there is no current flowing in P to Q. So simply I3 value is 0 and the answer comes out to be option A. Okay guys, in the next question, we have again a circuit being given to us in which we have a galvanometer, we have two batteries again, and we have an unknown resistor as well and a known resistor. Question is saying that if batteries A and B have negligible internal resistance, then the value of resistor R is going to be how much? One more important information is that the galvanometer is showing zero deflection, which simply means if the values of the current that you see here, that in the left loop the current is I1, in the right loop the current is I2, and the current which is passing through galvanometer is I2, so that value is basically 0. So now effectively say we have a loop which is A, B, C and D. Let's try to work out with that only and say this is P and Q. So we will definitely have to write the equation of KVL over here, but the problem is we do not know the value of I1 and R both, so we'll not be able to solve this. But we are now sure that if the value of the current which is passing from resistance R is I1 plus I2, it is effectively going to be I1 because I2 is 0. So if we look at this guys, we can see that PQ branch is parallel to BC branch. So no current is flowing through the PQ branch because it is I2, and through this we have R I1 flowing to it. So what we can say that the potential drop in PQ should be equal to potential drop in branch B to C. So that is 2 volts, and in B to C it is going to be R I1. So we know the value of R I1 is nothing but 2 volts. Okay guys, now let's write down the KVL equation for A, B, C, D, A loop, and in that if I go from say D to A, if I start or say we move from A to B, so it's going to be a potential drop on the resistor and potential increment on the battery. Okay, and you are moving in the clockwise sense here. So I have minus 500 I1, then minus IR or I1R, and plus 12 should be equal to 0. So I1 R value is 2 volts. So minus 500 I1 minus 2 volts plus 12 equal to 0. So this comes out to be minus 500 I1 plus 10 is equal to 0. So from here what I see that I1 is going to be 500 by 10 or simply 50 amperes of current, which simply means what? If I put the value of the current value here, if I put that value here, what am I getting? I'm getting the value of, okay, sorry, I solved it just the opposite. Yeah, okay guys, the current value is going to be, just a second, I will, it's the other way around ratio which has to be taken. Yeah, so from here I1 comes out to be 10 by 500, which means I1 will be 1 by 50 amperes. Okay, and now let's try to put the value of I1 as 1 by 50. So R will come out to be 2 by I1 or simply 2 into 50. That tells us that the resistance value will come out to be 100 ohms. Okay guys, because I1 is 1 by 50, so 1 by I1 will be equal to 50 here. Okay, so the answer comes out to be option D. Okay, now this one, we have a part of the circuit being given to us, and we are being asked whether if we close the circuit S, then what will be the value of this current which is flowing through the 2 ohm resistor here. Okay, now already the value of potential at A, B, and this, let's call this point as D, is given. So D potential is 0, A is 20, and B is 10 volts. We don't know the value of the potential at C, so let's consider it to be X. So what I'm going to tell you is just the application of junction rule, which says that if I1 current is coming at junction and I2 current is also coming at junction and I current is going, then I is nothing but I1 plus I2. Okay, but it is also, the method by which we are solving this question is also known as nodal analysis. Okay, it actually works on KCL only. Okay guys, so let's try to do that. Let's try to write down these values of I1, I2 and equate to I value. Let's say that the potential value of C is X, which we do not know. Let's try to find that potential. So if I say that I is nothing but I1 plus I2, then for current I, we will try to write the value of I as V by R only. So for I1, for the value of current I, the potential drop is X minus 0, right? Higher potential is X, lower potential is 0, and the value of resistor is 2. Equated to I1, I1 is flowing between 20 and X volt, so it is 20 minus X potential difference divided by resistance, that is 2, and for I2, it is 10 minus X divided by 4. Okay, so if I multiply and take the LCM, I will have 2x by 4 equal to 2 into 20 minus x by 4 plus 10 minus x by 4. 4 gets cancelled. I have 2x equal to 40 minus 2x plus 10 minus x. So what do I have here is 5x equal to 50 and x coming out to be 10 volts. So now I can find out the value of I very easily, which is x minus 0 by 2, which is nothing but 10 by 2 or simply 5 ampere. That's the value of the current which flows in this branch. Okay, this value came out to be 10 volts. So what did I do? I just applied the nodal analysis, which is also nothing but just an application of junction rule. And which junction we are working at? It is the junction C. Okay guys, so answer came out to be option B, that is 5 amperes. Okay, now this one is your homework question, everyone. In this, we have this circuit being given and you have to apply or use KVL and KCL and find out the value of the current which will flow through the 1 ohm resistor. Okay, so try to solve this question and tell me the answers in the comment section of this video, and let's see who is able to solve this question quickly. Okay guys, cool. For all the students who are preparing for JEE 2020 or 21 or 22, let me share with you the results of Vedantu for last year. In JEE Advanced 2019, we had total 3 students making it to the top 50 ranks, with Rajdeep Singh getting All India rank 38, Chirag getting All India rank 41, and Sumit getting All India rank 1 in PWD category. So guys, if these guys with no restriction, if can prepare from their home and make it to IITs, then you guys definitely can make it to IITs. All I want you people to take from this image is a source of inspiration, and tell this to yourself that yes, ghar se ho paega. Okay. Cool. And how Vedantu is going to help you in that? If you are a 2020 aspirant, if you're a student who's going to write for JEE examination this year, and you want your image to be here next year when we are talking about our success stories, then guys, definitely you need to crack this examination. And at Vedantu, we have a very, very, very helpful tool, which is the crash course, which is just started as the last and the final batch for all the young aspirants who are interested in giving it the last go for JEE preparation. So guys, if you are looking for last round of preparation, you can come for this crash course. Okay, how you can enroll for it? Follow the link in the description box, use the coupon code SMCC, and crash course would be yours for just ₹3,999. Okay, also if you are interested in a test series instead of the entire crash course, then we have a test series with 10 full-length tests, live discussions, and unlimited doubt solving. And this test series is going live from 22nd of June. Okay, so if you are interested in that, then follow this link which is available in the description box of this video and use the coupon code SMTEST, and then the test series, which is actually worth ₹9,999, could be yours for just under 14,000 rupees. Okay guys, I hope it's understandable to everyone. So go and take the advantage of these things. If you are interested in joining our Telegram group where we share assignments, study material, and daily updates, again you will find the link of our Telegram group in the description box. You'll be able to join that by using that link, and I will definitely see you in the Telegram group as well. Okay guys, hope you enjoyed solving these KVL and KCL questions with me in this video. If you did, then press the like button, share with your friends who are still not on the channel here, and subscribe to the channel. Also press the bell icon so that whenever your Suri sir comes live, you get the notification. Okay guys, with a promise to see you again very soon, I will take your leave now. Till then, keep studying, keep enjoying, and more importantly, stay safe guys. Bye bye.